everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Yanni and I'm doing this all about Christmas channel. Of course, I will keep it short. On this channel you will find lots and lots of seasonal decor DIYs and of course daily decor DIYs. Do you like what you see and you like this content? Of course, I hope you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It would help my channel a lot to grow, so I hope you will. And if you want to see more DIYs, come on over to my description box. There you find all the links for our DIY channels. Go check it out. And for now, let's jump into our DIY. You see already on my table are the things we need, at least the main things we need for this DIY. Our tumbler tile blocks, and this time I'm using the smaller blocks. These are similar like from the Dollar Tree, and also the bigger blocks you can find in stores and also on Amazon and AliExpress. So if you want to find the bigger ones, it's not they are not common everywhere, but if you look for it, you will find them. Of course, some paint at your choice. I use most of the time my wood glue because my projects stays better with some wood glue, but you can also use your glue gun, some brushes and some glue sticks. These are the main pieces we need for this DIY. What we're going to try to make, I'm going to try to make a little bit like a rocking horse, but on a stand. So I really have no idea. This is the first time I will make one, so it can be one disaster and it can look fine. So we will see how this will turn out. Of course, I hope you take out your tumbling tile blocks too. We're just going to start with the horse, and I'm going to start in the middle, but I think will look like his middle body, but we have no idea. But as always with my DIYs, you have no idea where it brings you. So, so we are going to take 5 blocks. And we're going to do it very easy, just 4 pieces with some glue. This is number 2, number 3, and a number 4, because number 5 will be the closure up. And this way, and we're just going to make a nice straight line, squeeze it, and again, readjust it until you have a nice line like this. Of course, press it down also so the blocks don't stand up. This is one we're going to take again, 5 blocks. We go for the same way, just do 4 of the blocks with some glue. And this is number 3 and number 4. And I think number 1 is a little bit too much, or too little glue, of less glue. And we're going to squeeze it again. And we're going to readjust it, lay it over here, and we get number 3 of the 5. And this is already again. And of course, if you don't like to see how I make it step by step, of course, I understand, and just skip forward. And or if you don't like this DIYs, it's also fine too. Maybe then this channel is not for you, because I do always step by step to show everyone the mistakes and the things which are going right, so everyone can make their own nice home decor. You see, we already have 3. Now we're going to go for blocks number 4. But before I'm going to do that, I get my old kitchen towel and I wipe away the glue, so we get a nice clean surface for the rest. And later we are going to work this glue away also. But now, not 2 pieces of 4. Number 1, number 2, and this is number 3, because here will be the 4th, will be the closing block. And again, squeeze it like this, and a straight line again. And I'm going to lay it over here. And the last of 4. And again, 3 pieces of some glue. And this is number 3 and the last. And we roll them together again. Squeeze it, press them. And we're going to let it dry in for a couple of minutes. So we did let it dry in for a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to do some glue on this one and on this one, and also take every block a little bit of glue. So we're going to place this one on top of here and this one as a closure over here. And again, we're going to place them straight up, and we make a nice straight line again and just squeeze it and give it a little bit of pressure. We're going to get for the 4 blocks again, do some glue over here, and we're going to place it exactly in the middle of this one. Again, squeeze it, and we do with this one the same. Just do some glue on each block, and we're going to place this one on the other side and just make it looks a little bit like a massive block. And again, some glue is coming out. Take your wet old kitchen towel and just go over it and wipe away the glue. It has to be wet or else it doesn't work that greatest. So you see already, we let this dry also. Now we're going to go for 2 pieces of 3. This will be one and this will be the second one. Of course, we are going not to do it on the side, we are going to do it on the front. So 1, 2, place it up here, and the 3 will be the closure. We do it on this one and on this one, and also this one will be the closure. Again, place them down, make a nice straight line and give it some pressure, and this way. And we're going to do here the same, place it down, give it some pressure again, and also a straight line again. And you see there is a little bit of glue popping out, and then you still can readjust it, and it's here the same. And we make it, and we let this dry in also for a couple of minutes. Our 2 pieces of 3 did dry in, and now we're going to do, you see on this side we are going to do the glue a little over here on each side, and we're going to place this one against each other. Very easy, in a straight line, squeeze it and press it down, and this way, and work a little bit with it. Just turn it a couple of turns, which way doesn't matter, just make sure that you have a nice straight line like this. 6 blocks on top of each other this way, and we're also going to place it here and wait for it. Now we're going to do 1 piece of 3 and a loose block. So we're going to do again some glue on the wider side of the block, not the sides but the front, and this one will be of course the closure up. And we're going to place it down and squeeze it and press it. And this is already 1, and we are going to give this one some glue on the front, only over here, and we're going to place it really in the middle of the 3 block, and I'm going to squeeze it and press it down and make sure that I have it in the middle. And this is how it's looking like, you see, this way. And we're going to let this dry also again. So we have our 3 pieces. I'm going to take this block, I'm going to place it over here, take this one, I'm going to glue it on front. Of course, now I'm looking back because I am working when I'm just thinking it while I'm working. So it is a little bit of crazy in my head. Of course, I could have done also just 3 pieces of 6 instead of 5. Then I had the same. But now I'm just going to do it this way. It was coming up later because I never made a horse before, so I really have no idea. So this one, and now I'm going to give this one on top over here, and we do it exactly. This one are going this way, so I'm going to do also this one on top of here. So do some glue, and if my explaining is not always the greatest, I'm sorry. I'm from the Netherlands, I'm doing my best. And I'm going to place this one over here exactly in front of this one, and we're going to press it down and wait a couple of minutes before we go further. So I will show it to you a little bit closer. This is how it's looking like if you have everything the same way like I, but you see already over here I am missing something on this side and on the other side. So I'm going to do this one. If you're going to start this horse right now, just do 3 pieces of 6 and 2 pieces, not 4 but 5. So you get the same way like I have it right now, only I do it a little later. So I'm going to take one loose block and I'm going to place it next to the other one. And I'm going to do this side the same, a little over here, and I'm going to glue it exactly next to the other one. So, and now I think he is really the same measurement I want him to have. So I'm going to let this dry in also. Now we're going to make his head, and this is just an experiment. I really have no idea. We are going to take 5 blocks like this, and we're going to just close them on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, and number 4, and the 5 will be the closure up. Again, this way, just build them together, and like this, squeeze them, place them down, and this way, and just squeeze it, and make a straight line. And this is 1. We're going to go for again 5 blocks. And we do again on 4 a little glue in the middle, over here and over here. And the last one, we're going to build them up again. And it is so easy to do. You just have to figure out what the best way is, just to make the horse with blocks and with less sewing. Of course, we need a little bit of sewing, but of course, we try to do it as less as we can, because not everyone has a jigsaw or something else at hand. So I'm always going to try to do it as less as I can. So I'm going to go for this one and wipe away the glue we don't need. And we make a nice straight line again. Also for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to glue the blocks together. So we do a little glue on this side, and we're going to place them straight up, and we're going to glue them together this way. And we're going to get a loose block, and we're going to do it on the front, over here and this way. So you see already we are collecting parts. We are now going to make his ears. Of course, we have to saw them a little, and we have to saw on his neck. So we do 2 blocks on top of each other. Very easy. And again, squeeze them, press them, and place them this way. And make sure that you let them dry quite a while. I think maybe at least an hour, hour and a half. So you can, when you use your saw, your hand saw or your jigsaw, that you have a nice, the blocks are not falling apart. And again, the wood glue, and over here. And we're going to let this part also dry in, so we can later draw some ears, some points on top of here. What we're going to do right now, we're going to try to get his legs. For our legs, we are going to make 8 time pieces of 2. And of course, I have something in my head, but I really have no idea, like I said, with all the pieces we make, if it will work or not. So, but we're going to just build them up, and we see if this will be a failure or not. At least this will be a little horse, not totally a rocking horse, but a horse on a stand. Because it has to be a decor piece. I love horses. I have a lot of them in my home. So I'm going to try to make just someone for just like a piece of home decor. 3, 4, 5, 6, this is number 7. And number 8. And then we are almost ready to go to our garage and just going to get our jigsaw and just saw a couple of pieces out. Not a lot, but the ears we have to cut off. We have to cut off a little bit of the neck and of the legs. But it's almost everything you also can do with your hand saw. So you don't have to have a jigsaw. And again, lay them on the side and make a nice straight line again of all your 8 pieces. And again, this will be the last. And we're going to let this dry in before we're going to saw our pieces. You see, I placed you a little bit lower. This is the part of the body of the horse, at least with what has to be the body of the horse. I don't see it yet, but maybe at the end we will be surprised. I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to make a nice line from this point until the, a little bit like now, I think this. Because the head of the horse has to be on here. I think he needs a little bit more down, if I'm correct. I think a little bit more like this. If I am looking a little bit with the part on it, I think you will have to look this way. So I'm going to make the line like this, and then I'm going to measure out again if I like the line with the head. Of course this way, and I'm going to place the head on top, of course this way, and I am going to look for, at least try to imagination how we will look like when I'm placing it on top of here, this way. I think this is the right size. So you see, this is only the part I'm going to cut off. So that's what I'm going to do first, because we're going to step by step making the horse from top to toe, because or else we can have not visualize how it will be. So that's why I'm going to start with his neck, and then we're going to glue this head on top of here. You see, I did saw his neck. He is now a little bit sideways. Now I'm going to get my head and I'm going to glue it exactly in the middle on top of here. Like this. Of course it looks now a little bit strange, but later later it will look much better. Of course you also get some how you call it in Netherlands, we call it manen, but of course you get his hair over here, so that will be okay. So we get our wood glue and we are going to glue, of course, the neck. We do some wood glue over here because we want to make sure that it doesn't fall off. And I have to look that I do it on the straight way, like this. I'm turning it over and I make sure that I have it in one line with this one. So I'm going to keep it in place for a couple of minutes. So our head is drying. We are going to take 2 pieces of the 2 blocks. We have a lot of them for the feet and of course 2 for his ears. I'm going to lay them apart. I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to measure out I think a bit as wide as my ruler is. I think maybe there is a couple of 3.5 centimeters like this, and I'm going to just make a very simple line. Just make sure that you have it in a straight line, and like this. Of course you have to be sure that everything is really fitting, and then I'm going to make a nice, of course I have to be careful. I'm sorry that it takes a little bit of your time, but I want to show it to you the best way I can. And I'm going to go first this one. This may see a little bit better than that. I do it immediately on the second one because I thought maybe it's easier that you do it completely in one time. You see, he goes wherever he thinks is right. And like this. So now we have only measured out the height of the ears, and now I'm going to go for the middle of this a little bit sideways and the middle of this a little bit to make a little bit pointy of the ears. So again, I'm going to look for the middle. I'm going to go this way, make the line better, and I think I'm going to go for a little bit like this. You see, this is what I mean, and I'm going to do for this one the same. Again, we're going to make a nice straight line again, and we're going to go for a point in the middle over here, and we go from this one until over here. So we have the same point of ears. So I'm going to get my saw again and I'm going to saw them out. And here you see how our little ears turned out. And of course later on we're going to give it some dimension with a little bit of the marker and some paint. Of course you just have to look through it how it is in this color. Of course we're going to give it a little bit of glue on here and on this side, and we're going to place them next to each other on his head. So very easy. And we're going to place them over here and on the ending of his head. So over here I'm going to place them next to each other and make sure that you have them in a nice straight line. Of course I have to keep this in place for a couple of minutes. We are going to let his ears dry, and if I'm looking at it right now, we also can make a dog. This is really an experiment, so we will have to see how this is turning out. Bear with me, we are going to come at the end and we will see it. Right now I'm going to take 4 pieces of our legs, and I'm going to get my ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to draw out also a little side line over here. You see I did with a pencil, I did a little line over it, and I think it's only from this side on, it's only, if I have my centimeters correctly, 1.5 centimeter. So I don't know how it is in inches, but at least 1.5 centimeter. But you also can see it. It's not a really big side, but you go from this point until somewhere else. If you only always hold this point, one other blocks this point, and then do it sideways, we are going to place them on top of each other like this. We are going to make here one line, so we are sure until where we need to go. We get our ruler again because we have to double them up, and this way, and we go to the point like this, and I'm going to make a nice line for here. And so I'm going to do all 4 of them, and I'm going to saw them out. And you see all 4 of them have a little piece of the side. It was so easy to do, so don't worry. If you just have already a little hand saw, it's already fine, because it's very easy to get off. I did sand a little this flat surface because it has to glue on top of the horse. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to do a piece of the other 2 blocks over here. So I'm going to do a little glue on here, and I'm going to place it against it like this. Squeeze it, press it down. We're going to do for this one the same, and of course for all 4 of them just a little dot. And we're going to glue this one also over here. We're going to do for this one, I have to look that I have the blocks in the straight line over here, and he will be glued. And this one, and a little dot. And now we already have all 4 of them, and we're going to let them dry in. You see already I have my horse over here, and I have 2 legs and 2 other legs. What I'm going to do, I'm going to glue them on this side. So on the side which is the 5 blocks, like this, I'm going to exactly glue it on here, and I'm also going to glue it over here. And of course you see already I have them totally the wrong side, so it will be this side. This side, and the other one of course also the same. So I will glue them on top of here, and then you will see how they are looking like. But of course be careful, don't glue the wrong way. So first I'm going to do the front legs, so I'm going to do some glue, and I'm going to let this go in for a little moment. And this one, so, and before you glue it, check it again, because you don't want the legs in the wrong way. So again, I have to look for that I have it in the right direction, and this one, and I'm going to place one over here. I'm going to squeeze it and press it down and keep it in place for a couple of minutes. Our legs are drying, and what I'm going to do, we are going to take 3 blocks, and we do on the top a little glue, and on this one like this, and we're going to squeeze them together this way and this way. Make sure that you press them well, and squeeze real hard in a straight line like this, and we are going to let this dry. So our 3-piece is dried in a little. What we're going to do, we can place it this way. We are going to get some glue on this block and on this block, and what we're going to do, we're going to place them against the under piece and this way. So squeeze it and press it down and keep it in place for a couple of seconds until it is a little bit dried in. Then we're going to get, and again, 2 blocks. We do some glue on this one and on this one, of course, and we're going to place exactly in the middle on this one and one on this side, and try to get it as even as you can have, because that looks always a little bit nicer. And this squeeze and press, and we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. In the meantime, while our little piece is drying, and this is how it's looking like a little bit closer. So very easy, just a 3-piece and blocks on this side and this side, and you're ready, fit to go. We are going to get 6 blocks, and we're going to make 5 of them with a little glue like this, and the last, and we are going to squeeze them together in one row, squeeze it and make a nice straight line again like this. Press again, and if you are satisfied with the line, of course, we are going to turn this one over, and we're going to do some glue over in the middle on each side. So, and now we're going to place it over here, and of course we have to look, this is the exactly the middle, so we want of course our blocks also in the middle. I'm placing it over here, and I'm going to turn it over if I have on each side the same measurement, and I have. And now I'm going to let this dry again, also a couple of minutes, maybe a little more. Our stand is drying, but I think he's a little bit, for me, too small. So I'm going to take again 6 blocks. It takes a little bit more of your blocks, but at the end I think you will be very happy. We're going to do again 6 blocks together, and we are going to glue 5. And then we're going to have a little bit of a bigger stand where he's standing on. I think that looks, when we at the end painted it and everything is ready, I think we will like that a little bit better than what we have right now. And this way, and now I'm going to do some glue, of course, on from this line to this line and in the middle. And we're going to place the other one on top of here. So over here, place it together, make a nice straight line, and we're going to let this dry in also. So our stand is drying, the horse is almost drying. We're going to take 2 loose blocks. What we're going to do, we're going to give the horse also a little bit of an, here in the Netherlands we call an hoefijzer, his ending of his leg. And of course the ending of his leg are 2 blocks like this, because his legs, these are his legs. And I'm going to want to give it a nice piece of, small piece of black ending over here. And I'm going to place it over here. I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm going to draw it out and just make a little line over here for 4 of them. And here you see my 4 little blocks with I will use as the ending of the feet of our horse. Of course, I'm going to get my black schoolboard paint, and I'm going to color them in the black color. So I take my time for it because I want to be sure that everything is right in the black color. So of course, if you like more of the brown color, it's also fine. You can do whatever you think is right. You see already, I have my 4 little blocks in the black color, but of course I'm going to go a little bit further because I want to have my stand also in the black color. So why not paint that already in advance, because we need to have it also in the black color. So I'm going to color also the stand, but Also with the blocks, you can do any color you like. It's at your choice. So our blocks and stands are also drying. We are going to do the rocking horse. Of course, it's still not looking like a real horse. Bear with me. I'm going to go for his ears. Before I'm going to paint them, I'm going to take a black marker and I'm going to make a little shadow inside of the ears, and later I'm going to go over with some paint. So it is only a little shadow that you can look inside his ears. So I'm never going to do this. So I'm just going to give a nice little opening over here, like this. And I'm going to go for this, the same, a little bit like a round, not totally a round. I show it to you in a moment, and then it looks really strange, and you're thinking, what's she doing right now? I really have no idea. But that's always the great thing. You never know where it will end. But like this, and this is how it looks like. Of course, it looks strange, but when I have it in my head, I hope everything will comes out right. So I'm going to get my paint, and I'm going to use my a little bit of the sandy color paint. But if you can use him, you can make him black, you can make him brown, do whatever you think is right. I'm giving this color, so I'm going to go and paint the whole horse right now. On each side, under, top, everywhere I'm going to give it the same color, and then we're going to give it some hairs. So our horse has already one coat. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do the 4 black blocks, of course, on the underside of our feet of our horse, and they called, if I am correctly, horseshoes. Or maybe hoof, I don't know, but I think it's called a horseshoe. So I'm going to glue them on top of here, all 4 of them. And you see here, I just glue them on top of here, and I think they change already a lot. Only with you do a little bit of a black horse feet shoes on them. So I'm really happy how this is looking like. Of course, if you imagine with the black stand also, what we're going to do, I'm going to let this dry in, and I'm going to get my fur, because I have here a piece of fur. This was a white fur, and I did some furniture wax on top of it for another DIY, and I have still a piece over. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a point like this over here, because we are going to start on the front side of his head, and then we're going to work it to the back side. So first I'm going to get my knife, and I'm going to cut off a little point. So you see, now I have almost a point, and I can already pull it out of each other. You see, this way, and I need this point to work with the top side over here. I want to do some fur in between here, in between the ears, and just let it go on the back side. This will be a little bit lighter, but I use a marker. I hope you don't have that kind of marker, because it's really awful. Every time when I go with my paint over it, he still keeps coming loose. And I already did it with some water. I already wiped it away. Nothing helps. So I'm now again going to let it dry. But later, of course, I'm going to that it just looks like a shadow. So don't mind this. And of course, there will be a little piece of the fur in between, like here. And then I'm going to work my way to the back side of his head. So you see, this is just very easy. Just take a knife, but be careful. And I'm just going to very easy every time go over it, and every time, and it's in a moment, then it really goes off of each other. You see already, now I have a nice little point, and this point, of course, like I said, I'm going to start with on the front side with my hairs of the horse. Of course, what I'm going to do, now I have the front, and I have to go further a little piece with the middle. So I'm going to cut out this a little bit sideways, this way. Just go over it time and time until it is getting loose. And it takes a little moment of your time, so I'm going to do it a little bit faster. This is how it's looking like on the back side. I have it sideways, and what I'm going to do very easy, just take some glue, and I'm going to glue it inside on this, so this way, and then I'm going to get it on the back side of his head. I use my glue gun for this. So like I said, very easy. Just make a nice line over here and just place your fur in between. Just squeeze it down, and we're going to do a little piece over here, and again squeeze it in, and this one. And of course I don't need too far, because if I am measuring out a little bit like this and I'm going to go for over here, then I am already there for the back side, of course, of the hair. Here in the Netherlands we call it manen. I don't know how you call it in English. Of course, I'm going to look it up also. And now I'm going to, you see already, I'm totally under the glue. I'm used to the wood glue already. And I'm going to do now some glue on the fur, this way. And I'm going to place this fur over here, this. And I'm going to cut it off over here. And then I am going to do some glue also over here, and again over here, and we make sure that we fold it in on this way. And you see already the fur is everywhere. That's the better thing if you do it in your home, because your whole home is under the fur. But I can barely take you to my garage, so I'm going to, everything is closed in, only here a little piece, and I'm going to let this set in. So, and now I'm going to get my horse. I'm going to get it over here. I'm going to do some glue over here. I'm going to heel like this, do some glue over here. I place first the point over here and just let it set in. Wait until it is dried up in between his ears. Then we go to the front side. Of course, we're going to do some glue in between the ears over here. We're going to work our fur in between the ears. Just press it in and keep it in place for a little moment. Then we're going to go for the back side again. And we're going to go step by step further downstairs, at least down his head. And again, we have to keep it in place until everything is dried up. And I have to measure out because it's of course too long. And we go further on the back side of his head. And we place this one, of course, over here. And again, wait until it is dried up. And we go for, I have to keep it this way so you can see it. Of course, we are doing some glue on each corner and also on the ending. And we are going to place it in here and we're going to press it down. And again, wait until it is dried up. And then you can work with the fur, because you can make it as furry as you want. But first everything has to be dried up. And like this. And now we can work with our fur. Of course, get out of the loose pieces. And this way you get the hairs. And if you need to work a little bit with it, do some glue and press it down this way. Of course, I have to get away with the glue. And you see already, he is already starting looking more and more like a little rocking horse. And this is how his hairs are looking right now. This is, and of course later I'm going to do also, I think, a little distressing of black inside of it. But I have to see if this will work or not. So what I'm going to do, I have this piece of leftover. And of course I can still work with it to give it for a little tail on the back side, because I don't want it to have the tail too long. And I'm going to glue this together this way, so squeeze it in, and then I'm going to do some glue on this both sides, and I'm going to bend this also in front, and wait until the glue is almost dry, and then I'm going to get this little bubble of glue away. But first I have to wait. And then we have a nice ending of our tail, and then we're going to do the other side the same. And like this. Be careful that you don't burn yourself. I don't feel anything on my fingers, but you probably will. So be careful. And like this. And I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to close it in for this side also. Do some glue inside. And squeeze it together very lightly. And I'm going to place it on the back side. Of course, I have to work with it over here. So I just laid the horse this way, and I'm going to do some glue on the back side. Of course, over here some drops. And I'm going to place our tail on here and squeeze it real tight. And let it dry in. And you see our horse looks already a little bit more and more like a horse. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my smaller ribbon. I was planning to do it in the black color, but I thought maybe it's also a nice in a little bit brighter red. I'm going to go for this side, a little bit halfway over here until the other side. So in a moment I show you exactly what I mean. I do it step by step so you can make it very easily yourself. So I'm going to glue them on top, and then I show you. You see, this is how it's looking like. Now I did it from one side until the other side, and I did two pieces, one over here and one over here. You can see it a little bit better. Now I'm going to go on the side. I'm going to go for one over here from this side ending until this ending. And you see we have them over here, we have them on this side and on this side. It's very easy. Just do a little piece over here. This is just a little piece of ribbon. You first start with the two over here, then you close them up with to get a nice line until here on exactly the widest of the block. And now what we're going to do, we take a piece of ribbon and we're going to glue this on top of here, and we make a nice piece because we're going to go around here because you need his loose just the way you can hold your hands on. So, but I show you that too in a moment better because it's better than my English. You just saw me trying out the length of what we need for our piece where you can do your hands on. Of course, then I saw my pushpins over here, and we call it in the Netherlands punaise, but you know what I mean. This is, and I was thinking before I'm going to glue it, why do I just do one on top of here? And I think it looks very nice. So I didn't glue this piece. I just did a push pin through here and pushed it all over all the others. And I'm going to do, turn it over and like this. And I'm going to do here the same. Just take another push pin and I'm going to place them also over here. So I'm going to make sure that I have it on the right spot. I'm going to do it in the middle over here. Maybe a little higher. I'm going to, at least if it goes through. Of course, when the camera is running, and nothing works, you know how it goes. Of course, I have to look still that I have it right. And I'm going to push it sideways on through here. So I have to look for if I have it in a straight line like this. And I'm going to try to squeeze it in like this. And you see, now I have my own cute little for my little horse, and I'm so happy with how this one is looking like. And you see, I was looking and I also did one on the ending, so I'm going to do also on this side. I'm going to lay it over here and make sure that I have it in the middle like this, and I'm going to try to squeeze it in like this. And of course it is a little bit hard sometimes. And I have to squeeze real hard. He is in. So you see, this is, and I am really happy how it's looking like. Now I'm going to look for some googly eyes, and I'm going to try if I like the googly eyes or maybe black eyes. I have to see. You see, I have now on one side a googly eye, and I think it looks very nice. I don't going to paint it black. I'm going to leave it this way. But if you like more like a black eye, it's also fine, and do a little bit dot on top of it for yourself. I like this googly eye, so I'm going to do the other one on the other side. And then we're almost ready to show a quick impression, but of course we still need to glue it on top of our stand. Before I'm going to glue my horse on his stand, I'm going to get my black marker, and I'm going to go inside of the fur and make little pieces of the fur also black, because I think it looks a little bit more neutral, if you like. Of natural is it? That's a better word. Natural is a better word. If you do also a little bit of black in his hair, so of course you don't have to do it. This is just something I like. It's not you have to do it. Of course, I think it looks a little bit more fitting together, everything. So also don't forget the other side. Like this, and you see it gives just a little bit more like a nice look. Of course, also on the underside, on his tail, little pieces also. Don't forget the other side, like this. So, and so you can do it as crazy as you like. And now I'm going to glue it on his stand. Now I'm going to do some wood glue on top of here, and of course, this is not a really big purpose of place where you can glue it on, because there was no room in between here. So if I do this horse again, then I would make it a little bit wider. This is now 5 layers, but I'm going to do it 6 layers. This is 3 of 6, and I would 3 of 7 of 8. And I will do this one 2 of 6 or 7. It's just a little bit depending. And then you can make the stand also a little bit wider. But now only the small blocks is fitting inside. So the next time I will do it a little bit more bigger. So I'm going to place it on top, and then we hope that everything will fit together. And I'm going to place it on top and let this dry in for a couple of minutes. You see, our little horse is almost finished. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of twine. I'm going to double it up, 3 double it up, not one double up. So we have 3 strings. So we're going to cut it off this way, and over here. So now we have 3 pieces, and we're just going to make a very easy and simple bow, the way you tie your shoes. So because I want to do under his head, I'm going to do a little bow over here. Of course, I have a little bit too much of the twine. You see, this is nothing going right. So again, like this, very easy, but I think everyone knows how to tie your shoes. So very simply this way, and I'm going to cut it off, and like this. And now we can glue it under his head over here. But you see that in a moment with a quick impression. And here you see a quick impression of our tumbling tile blocks horse on the stand, and I'm so happy how he finally turned out. Of course, I have to be honest, I would have done next time a couple of things different, and especially I would make the horse a couple of blocks extra to make it a little bit bigger. So, but for this one, it's always very nice to have on your tray. If you are a little bit small in your spaces, then this horse is a really nice size to have over here. Then you can better do this size. Of course, I hope you did this DIY together with me, and you also have right now your own little cute horse. And of course, if you're only here to watch, I hope you had fun watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It would help my channel a lot to grow. For more DIYs, come on over to my description box. There you find the link for our DIY channels. Hope to see you there, and for now, have an amazing day. See you next time. Bye.